All right, let's go. Let's do video number 2 in our new player advice series. Looks like the first video was a big hit, so we're going to continue this, and we're going to continue it with the second quest in the core box. And we're continuing it with the same 2 guys, Nathan and Jason. Thanks, guys, for joining again.
Huzzah!
Hey.
So, Jason, what's new?
Not too much since we last spoke. I've just been kind of getting excited and ready for fall, putting up the fall decorations, and actually last night I just made I didn't even know they had these, but it was like a Halloween haunted house, like a gingerbread house, but it was actually a chocolate cookie house.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
it has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, but it was fun.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I've just been eagerly awaiting our next playthrough of this game.
Well, good. Yeah, I had tons of fun the first time, so yeah, me too. Nathan, what's new with you?
By the way,
oh, yeah?
Oh, in case anybody forgot, apparently Tuesday is National Hobbit Day.
I did forget.
Yeah.
Does that mean that we have
So
to take
I'm
out
going to be...
work or what?
Guess it's a national holiday. You have to take off from work. No, I'm gonna celebrate with my friend. We're gonna do 7 dishes inspired by a full Hobbit schedule of meals. So that's gonna be fun.
That's awesome. I'm too tall to be a hobbit. I'm just a hobbit in thought.
Camera angles,
Yeah, I drank too much Ent Draft.
Mm-hmm.
And how you been over there, Nathan?
Well, first of all, obviously you can't see my face, but I had a literal jaw drop when I heard Jason talk about the 7 inspired meals there or dishes. Holy crap.
Yep.
That sounds awesome.
And they're all before noon.
Yeah, you got to have second lunch or whatever. No, for the most part, things have gotten a lot better here. We had, I think, a ton of fires all burning at the same time in Washington, Oregon, and California. Therefore, we had the air quality index was often in the 300 to 400s, which made us the worst air quality in the world.
Yay, we win!
Yeah, it was truly, I mean, it was almost like being in the Shire back when Sharky was rocking it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I have been playing a lot of Arkham Horror. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'm actually going to play Barkham Horror.
Yes.
The release that came out with the doggies. I had some special dog treats fashioned that are for human consumption. And then we're going to gussier thing up and use dog miniatures. It's going to be really stupid.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
And if anybody wants to see pictures of that, that's Arkham Horror Images of Madness on Instagram. If you want to scope out any of those pictures, it's going to be pretty weird. That said, speaking of Lord of the Rings, I've been continuing to go through my collection and get it ready. And I talked recently with Ian Martin, who did the first stage fan-made scenarios based on the Silmarillion. And holy cow, yeah, I got just a ton more content to play through. Once again, this is one of my very first times playing the game, so I will ask dumb questions and make mistakes, but
Woohoo!
I do have a love the game and appreciate all of its glory.
Well, there's no dumb questions. Ask all and any questions, because like I said, it seems like people enjoyed this, and I hope they're getting some knowledge and stuff from it. All right, well, with that, so we got Jason, you're running the Aragorn, Eowyn, Eleanor deck, correct?
Sure am.
All right. And Nathan, you're running Gimli, Denethor, Barivor.
Or as I like to call it, the Giles from Down Under.
There you go. There you go. All right, so these are slightly different decks than last time. We have Eleanor. She's new, so she can exhaust to cancel a treachery from a treachery card just revealed. Only a treachery.
You're talking about when revealed treachery. Now, when that says when revealed treachery, that is obviously from the encounter deck, but that does not include shadow cards.
Right.
Because at that point, they lose their treachery status and become shadow card status. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just the shadow effect underneath that line. So the card type literally doesn't matter. It's you're just looking at the shadow text under the shadow line. So she can't do anything with shadow cards. And you have to exhaust her. But she's actually really good, especially if you have nasty treacheries that will take out a bunch of characters or something. You don't want to ignore Eleanor from the core set. And then I believe Denethor is also new. He can exhaust, look at the top card of the encounter deck, and then he can move it to the bottom of the deck.
I was just looking at both the sets of heroes here, and it's weird because I think last time it felt more like one of us was doing more fighting, the other one more questing, from what I recall, which could be wrong.
Yep.
But this one definitely feels like it has a stronger fighter per group, and then more manipulation of the deck and drawing, etc.
Yes, and that's a great segue into why I did this. So I built these decks. I haven't tested them yet on purpose because part of the game of Lord of the Rings is trying to figure out how to beat the scenario, the puzzle of the scenario. What did I lose from? You know, you don't just lose. Something killed you. Was it enemies? Was it threat? Was it location lock? That means having too many locations in the staging area and you can't quest over it. And then you try to figure out, okay, what do I need to add to my deck? What do I need to take away from my deck to solve the issue that killed me? And to me, that's a huge part of the fun of the game. I love trying to puzzle out a quest and figure out how to beat it. If you're a new player and you're struggling with the second quest, because a lot of people do, I would suggest trying to play it two-handed. There's no reason not to, other than it just makes it a little more complicated on your end, running two decks. But the game is very fun two-handed because you can specialize the decks. You get the full range of the card pool if you use all 4 spheres. And then maybe you can get some wins under your belt two-handed and then try to figure out what you need to build in a solo deck. Because there's just some quests that are very hard with a solo deck. They're all beatable solo, but some quests are harder than others. So to answer your question, yeah, this quest pulls out a lot of enemies, and you would want both sides of the table to be able to defend and attack. And I think we're just going to get going here. I'm going to explain the decks I built, and it's mainly the Tactics lore deck that we need to make sure pulls off a little bit of some combat action right off the get-go. So looking at your opening hand, you don't have Feint, and you don't have Forest Snare.
I don't like a lot of my opening hand.
Yeah. So your hand is, I would say you definitely want to mulligan that because we're really hoping to find a Forest Snare. Let's see what you get, and then we'll look over at the Leadership Spirit deck. Okay. Not great. Okay.
But I got Citadel Plate.
You did. We'll have to see. You also got Galeowine, so you got some card draw. You got Barivore for card draw. So we'll see. All right, let's look over at the other deck. Your deck has some Stewards of Gondor in it, and you didn't draw one. And so that's really the question you need to ask yourself is, are you okay not having your Steward, or do you want a mulligan for it?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily love the hand that I have anyways, so maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see anything that would be good to start the game with. There's some good cards, but not necessarily to start out with. So I think I probably will mulligan as well.
Yes, I would take a mulligan as well. Okay, so this is good. I'm kind of in a way glad. Like, you didn't get your Steward, and we didn't get Feint, and we didn't get Forest Snare, and so that's going to make this harder, which I think is in a way kind of good because it shows like how difficult these quests can be. But what you did get was the Gladrum's Greeting.
Yeah.
Which is going to buy us some time because we're going to be adding a hill troll that has 30 engagement. And if we can stay under 30 for a while, and the Tactics lore deck is at 29, so if we can drop him down, we'll, buy us a few rounds to get ready. So if you don't find your missing pieces, but you do have a way to drop your threat, that buys time, and that's good.
Emerging from Mirkwood Forest with an urgent message for Lady Galadriel. You must now make your way south along the Anduin River in order to reach the forest of Lorien. As you leave the forest behind, you notice that you are being pursued and thus quicken your pace.
All right, so let's do this. Each player reveals one card from the top of the encounter deck. If it's a treachery, we could exhaust Eleanor to cancel it. So Eleanor doesn't need a resource or anything. She's in play. We can trigger her ability right now. So let's see what we get. Oh! Okay. That happened. And...
wish I... Oh, no.
All right, so this surges, and since we're revealing cards, the surge still triggers.
Are we ready to scoop? What's going on?
This surges. Oh, yeah, this is good. This is great. You ready for this? Look at that. 4 enemies. Woohoo!
As you approach the location of a small raft slash... Oh, okay, I can't read the small font as well. As you approach the location of a small raft stashed on the riverbank, a fearsome hill troll emerges from behind a group of rocks and attacks. Luckily, we just have that troll.
That's right. So we already revealed the troll, so we don't have to go and find another one. Normally, that would mean, great, we only had to reveal 2 cards, but then we double surged. So, yeah.
You know, and it was interesting because I was listening to Lord of the Rings or Cardboard of the Rings, like episode 60 or 61, and they were talking about how surge is now everywhere in the game, and it just like floods the board. And to keep it would have been fine. To cap it at maybe 2 or 3 times would have made more sense, but potato, right?
Yep. Well, it just makes for an interesting game. So, I mean, even out of all these enemies, only 1 is attacking us. We just have to quest over them. And you don't need to make a lot of progress in your first couple turns. It's just you don't want to underquest and have to raise your threat, because then this hill troll is going to come down. All right, so that is what we're starting with, guys. It's pretty nasty. This goblin sniper is going to be hanging out there dinging us with the damage for a while until we can get other enemies out. So let's give this a shot, and we'll see how we go. So everyone go ahead and start the game. We got Haldir watching over us, shaking his head. All right, what did we get? So we got some card draw for the leadership deck. Oh, and a feint! Boom. Boom. That's awesome.
I don't think feint's that big of a deal because you got really excited really quick.
Yep, it is. Because when we engage that hill troll, we can just feint it. We don't even have to worry about it attacking. And then if we can slap a forest snare on it the very next planning phase, we basically neutralized it. So that's the plan. Engage the hill troll, survive 1 attack from it, and then we'll put a forest snare on it, which means it can't attack us, and then we can slowly try to kill it.
You know, it was interesting. I was just looking at my makeup of my cards, and I have a lot of tactics, but I only have 1 hero that can produce tactics resources, so that'll be tricky.
Yeah, so the Horn of Gondor on Gimli might be a good call. So he can generate some more resources. That might be a good call. All right. So, Jason, what do you want to play?
I don't really see any reason to not play the Snowborn Scout.
Yeah.
I think having more bodies is always a good thing, especially when we have like a full staging area as it is.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to play him. So let's get him out. Okay. And I do have a very tempting unexpected courage, but I think I will wait so I can save up resources. Well, let me see.
No, I agree with you. I think trying to get the Gladrim's Greeting in next turn would probably be a good call.
Right, because Nathan's got 29 threat already.
Yep.
So,
and that Gladrim's Greeting, you can drop each player's threat by 2. So that'll buy us a couple rounds, which would be pretty awesome. Yeah, I think you did good here.
In that case, yeah.
All right. What are you doing over there? He's popping in some Gleowine. So Gleowine, you can exhaust to draw a card. And he's playing the Horn of Gondor. So after a character is destroyed, I know it says leaves play, but actually that card's been errated. to be after a character is destroyed. Add 1 resource to attach heroes pool. I don't know what your versions say, like when you bought your core set, but that's actually been updated.
Yeah, mine says destroyed.
Okay.
I don't use it.
Yeah, it makes it a little trickier. Okay, so I think the priority here, like I said, you just want to quest successfully. You don't want to raise your threat by not questing enough. So let's start over here. So we're going to quest for 4. Yep, with AON. And then you have to make a decision. Do you want to, if you engage an enemy, do you just want to chump with the Snowborn Scout? It's actually not a terrible idea. Because one of the strategies of the game is like, assume you're going to get engaged with an enemy. And then have a plan for that enemy.
Right. Well, we definitely will.
Yep. At least one.
Well,
see if I can get that. Go ahead.
Yeah, Nathan, like, well, I guess, I don't know, were you planning on questing? I'm just trying to think of, like, total willpower here.
See, the tricky thing with this deck is, like, Denethor has a 1, Erebor has a 2, but they both have powers. And so it's like balancing out whether to use their powers or get, 2 to 3 extra questing power.
Yep.
Currently, what are you sitting at?
Yep. He's sending 4 at the moment.
4 is not going to get us anywhere.
No. Right. So exactly what you just said there. The number one priority right now is not raising your threat from under questing. So I think that trumps any abilities on anybody's cards. You just want to send enough willpower. Because if you underquest and then you get engaged by the crows, the wolf rider, the hill troll, you're dead. I mean, it's just a scoop. Because there might be another.
Should I just swing for the hills there and just leave Gleowine to draw a card or block if needed?
I would send everybody but Gimli if I was you. Actually, I'm sorry. I would send everybody but Denethor if I was you. Because Denethor is a good defender, and Gimli has more willpower than Denethor.
I've got 5 to add.
So 5. All right. Were you sending, and you're keeping Aragorn up, or did you want to send him as well?
I was thinking about sending him.
Yep, I would. This is where you don't want to be too careful with the, like, trying to get it perfect. It's like, nope, I don't want to have an unexpected surprise, because I know there's enemies with low engagement costs. So if we reveal those would also come down. If you raised your threat, you know more are coming down. All right, let's see. So you guys sent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you sent 11, which is great. One second, I'm good. Okay, so we're 11 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, that's why you do it. 10.
Oh, no. Oh, come on.
Hey, try to calm yourself there, Chad.
Oh man, this is probably the worst grouping of encounter cards you could possibly have revealed. So we'll just, we'll play through it. This happens. This kind of stuff happens. So
can we just errata Eleanor's ability so that she can trigger to cancel an enemy when revealed?
Right?
Dang.
Yep. God dang, guys. That's insane. Okay, well, you guys quested 11 against 11. So that we did well. We travel here, and then that immediately gets cleared. After you travel there, we place a progress. So that goes away.
Hold on. Go back one step. So we traveled there, and you said that gets a progress even though we tied?
It says, after the players travel to the Brown Lands, place 1 progress token on it.
It's that land specifically. 10-4.
Yep. All right, so you only have to engage 1 enemy. do you wish to engage the crows? I know you don't want to engage the hill trolls, and you can't engage the goblin sniper because he says he can't be engaged if there's enemies in the staging area with him. So does anybody want to engage the crows optionally?
I mean, I could probably take the crows.
And I'm also wondering about Gimli. Do you want to start trying to power him up and have him take undefended attacks and get some damage?
Yeah, sure. I've done that in one of my first couple plays.
Okay, so do you want to take the 2 attack undefended or the 1 attack undefended?
1 to leave room for all the shenanigans that could happen.
Okay, then this one comes down naturally like that. All right, who are you declaring as a defender against the Wolf Rider?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess I could use Eleanor because I don't really need her ability now.
Correct.
So, yes.
That sounds good to me. Hey, look at that. Get rid of that stupid card. That's nice. That's a great one. So, obviously, there's no shadow effect because there's no line. Like on the Wolf Rider, you can see the line. So, the treachery does nothing. You only look at the shadow. All right, you're getting attacked for 1 and you're taking it undefended?
This is how you say it, correct.
No shadow. So, you take 1 damage on one of your heroes. Gimli has the text. Gimli gets +1 attack for each damage token on him. So, now he's a 3 attacker. So now you have a choice. Denethor can kill the crows, which shuffle it back into the deck per its effect. Or you could exhaust Denethor to take a peek at the top card and move it to the bottom of the deck. Which of those 2 things would you like to do?
Well, in my naive state, I could see both being good, and I'm sure a veteran would argue Denethor's is better, but being as I can't remember anything about the deck for the most part, and we already have the hill trolls in play, it makes sense to kill the crows to me.
Okay, sounds good to me. I think you could argue it both ways, like you said. So if you want to see what the top card was, here it was. It would have been just something that adds threat. So not really that terrible. But now it's all getting shuffled. So it probably was a card you wouldn't have wanted to shuffle away. So I think you made the right call. All right, I think we're ready to go to the next round, guys. Still alive.
Okay.
All right, what do we got? Strider's Path. So that lets us get rid of some threat in the staging area. Blanks.
And then to be clear, the Horn of Gondor is when any character, so hero or ally, but not any enemy.
Correct. And then, oh, nice. Okay, the Dwarven Tomb lets us pull back a card. This is where if you had Steward of Gondor, you could play the Gladrim's Greeting, drop the Tactics deck down by 6, and then use the Dwarven Tomb the next turn to pull Gladrim's Greeting back into your hand, play it again, and drop yourself by 6. And then you guys would have a lot of time. But you haven't found your Steward of Gondor yet, unfortunately.
I have not.
So this is where I would say it's probably an incredibly important turn. You can decide exactly how you want to handle this. The tactics deck is at 30. So he needs to have his threat reduced. Otherwise, 2 hill trolls are engaging him.
So how does this work? Because I see they're at 30 now, but how do we still have a window to reduce it?
Well, we're in the planning phase. So before the engagement phase, if you can drop your threat, you only check your threat against engagement during the engagement phase. So there's 7 phases to the game. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to drop both players' threat by 2? Do you want to have maybe Barivor or Gleowine draw you a card and maybe you'll get lucky? But you only have one. Actually, you only have one leadership resource anyway, so you can't even play your steward if you found it. So, yeah, Yeah. Are you planning on playing? Because you could play a card that's an action, like an event, during other people's planning. You don't have to wait. The whole planning phase is green, which means you can use actions at any time. So
so I don't have to wait for Nathan.
Right. So even though you don't have a steward, you're still going to have... no, you'll be one resource short, won't you? Yeah, you will. So the question is, do you want to drop his threat by 6, or are you going to drop both your threats by 2?
I mean, I tend to play more conservatively and cautiously, so I would probably think to drop both by 2, even though it doesn't buy us as much time.
I think you're right because of your Dwarven Tomb.
Yeah.
Because you could, in theory, play Gladrum's Greeting in 2 turns and do it again.
Yeah, because we're both just a little too close to being attacked by 2 trolls, and yeah, I don't like that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and play Galadrim's Greeting and use it on both of us.
Perfect. All right, so you guys are dropping down, getting out of harm's way. You just bought yourself a couple of rounds. So 28 and 27. That feels better, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Okay. Now what do you want to do over here if the tactics stick? You really only have one card, I would say, you could play.
Is it Protector of Lorien?
Yeah.
That's one I was thinking.
And so Protector of Lorien, you discard a card up to 3 cards to give +1 willpower per card and +1 defense per card. So that helps Denethor really become a good defender. He could actually defend a hill troll and take no damage. All right, let me run upstairs real quick because I got to tell these girls to turn down the volume on that radio.
We bought some time with the hill trolls, aka the things that everybody talks about as being like the worst.
They're not great.
So I guess.
Yes. So we just got to keep buying time until we find a more permanent way to deal with them. I guess we got to kind of figure out, because you have 2 people right now who can give us some card draw, so that could help us. I think primarily we might want to use them on yourself, so you could find the forest snare. That seems to be like a good strategy. What were you thinking?
Yep, pretty much. And then I just drew a secret paths in case we get some kind of nasty land or something out there.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's really smart. And since you don't need the forest snare during planning right now, you can actually hold off to draw those cards till after questing, and what cards have been revealed, and if you need to use Barivore for something else.
To what?
So technically, the tactics deck will commit to the quest first.
How much are you going to be sending? At least 4?
Oh yeah, well definitely at least 4. I could potentially send Aragorn as well.
I think that's probably a good idea, man.
All right, I'm gonna send Gimli then, and I want to send Denethor because I could also pump him with the Protector. But is that kind of like Eowyn's ability where I could do it any time?
Yeah, you can decide when to do it. And also, if he sends Eowyn, you could discard a card to her instead of Denethor's. So this allows you could discard like 4 cards total if you needed to. If you don't send Denethor, you could just...
That's right. We can each discard one for Eowyn as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is what
correct?
I think. Yeah.
So I guess that doesn't leave us in a negative spot from last time because we could have discarded to beat the tie, right?
Correct. Or if we were underquesting by 1, we could have discarded a card.
Yeah. Not so much beating it, so much as not losing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've committed these 2. I feel like that's
okay.
a decent move.
He's sending 3, and on this side, 6. So we're sending 9 against 4. That seems very good to me because, like I said, you plan on 2 or 3 threat per person. So here we go. There it goes. It is a treachery. Deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher. Well, that's nice. That's nice.
I don't even need to cancel that. It canceled itself.
That's right. And, okay, here we go. The wargs. It's a 2 threat. So 2, 4, 6. You guys make 3 progress. I'm going to just tell you right now, there's no need to discard cards to try to add more progress. This is where you can decide what you want to do. These stupid wargs, I hate these things. It says if the wargs dealt a shadow card with no shadow effect, they get returned to the staging area. So it sucks because they can just keep, like, even if you want to kill them, you can't. I hate that effect.
Right. They can do damage and then go back and contribute their threat again next time.
Yep. And they're 20 threat. Or, I'm sorry, they're 20 engagement, so they are coming down. So we already got a 2 attack enemy engaged with the leadership deck over here. How do you guys want to handle this thing? I was hoping you guys would get a location. That's what I was like, come on. I mean, we're going to run out of enemies.
Take it.
You can take it? Okay. All right. I'm curious. What are you going to do with this sucker?
I almost feel like I should... Well, so Gimli has... But I wouldn't be defending, so it just goes straight to its hit points, right?
Yep.
I feel like the knee-jerk reaction is to take it unblocked and build up points, but as you can tell, that's a risky move. I kind of feel like I should just jump block with Gleowine.
Ouch.
Yeah. Because if that thing gets a shadow card and rips through me and doubles, it kills off Gimli or something. But if I... Hold on a second. Stepping back a minute. If I take it unblocked, I have to put the damage on something or a hero.
Hero.
So I really feel like Gleowine's the right choice then.
Right.
If it was anything, I would pick Glewine to take damage on if it is a shadow effect that's really killer. But to risk losing a hero at this stage is kind of dumb.
Right.
Plus, it'll help power up with Horn of Gondor.
Sure. Now, let me ask you, do you feel like maybe sending Denethor might have been the wrong call?
At the time, no, because I didn't know wargs or the fact they have 3 fight. So I was thinking maybe I'll get another stupid crow or something.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep, because like I said earlier, you always want to have a plan for if you have to engage an enemy. Now, you don't have to engage this. A little enemy, right?
No, but somebody, right?
Yeah. Jason has 2 ready characters, and 1 he doesn't mind losing. So he could take this. See what I'm saying? And he could chump the Snowborn Scout. And your Horn of Gondor would still trigger.
It just seemed like a lot to put on one person's plate.
Well, technically, too, I was thinking even if Nathan did take the warg over on his side, couldn't I ready Aragorn and use him as his sentinel?
Unfortunately, you would have had to have spent that resource after he committed to the quest.
Oh, right. Damn it. Yeah, right. That's what the fine print says. Well, I mean, I could get rid of the Snowborn Scout, and then I could use that resource instead to use Valiant Sacrifice.
Yes. So, as the resident veteran, in quotes here, I know I am, but I still feel weird saying it. I think that's what I would do. There's a great chance there's going to be no shadow, and this thing's just going to come bouncing right back up to the staging area anyway. So it's kind of like, what could we do for 1 round? And then you could leave Denethor up, so he could engage it next turn. It gets a resource on Gimli if the Snowborn Scout dies, and it draws 2 cards from Valiant Sacrifice. So if it was me, I would do this. And then you get to draw 3 cards with the other 2 characters that are ready on your side.
Now, what if it doesn't get a shadow card?
Well, you said, you do have Aragorn. So you can quest of him next turn if you want and ready him, and he attacks for 3. I mean, he can help you start killing things. You also have Gandalf in your deck. You got this Wandering Took you could pop in. It's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. But if the other deck gets in the Gondorian Spearman, that guy has Sentinel. I mean, basically right now, you guys are in such a tough spot. Like, you've had such bad luck that you're just basically trying to make the best of a really bad situation and play as smart as you can. And so this would be my advice. This is how I would handle it. You're going to be drawing 2 cards with Valiant Sacrifice, 3 cards with Beravor and Gleowine. That's 5 cards are coming into your guys' decks, plus the 2 from the next round. So that's 7 cards. So you guys should probably have some good options for next round.
Hopefully including a Forest Snare.
Yep, or a Sneak Attack Gandalf, or, whatever.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, so it looks like all the combat's happening over here.
Oh boy. Okay, so Eleanor will exhaust. She'll defend against the Wolf Rider.
Okay. One last thing I want to say. You could trigger Beravor and Gleowine right now if you wanted to, just to see what's about to happen. You don't have to wait for combat to be over. Do you want to do that now and see?
I'm the one that has the Forest Snare, so I should probably take the 2 cards, but I could always give him 1 in the Mistral.
Yeah. Trigger Beravor first. Let's see what you get. You got an X.
Next. And a Blade Mastery.
Unfortunately, you're drawing all your tactics cards. I think you should use Gleowine on yourself as well.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you got through those cards. All right, Beravor. I'm sorry. Eleanor is exhausting. Here we go. 2 against 2. The shadow is, wow. It gets dealt 2 more shadow cards. X is the number of players. Okay. Here we go. Oh my god, you guys. Defending character does not count its defense. Holy cow. Okay. Well, you're not dead.
Yay. That's good, I guess. Okay, so she'll get 2, and then Snowborn Scout. He's a goner, that's for sure.
Yep, and there is a shadow. Defending character does not count as defense. Well, in that case, it doesn't matter, but at least he stays engaged. Don't know if we wanted that, but that's what happened. So 4 shadow cards, 3 of them had shadow effects. Wow. So Snowborn Scout leaves play. Gimli gained a resource from the Horn of Gondor. And Valiant Sacrifice says after a ally card leaves play, you draw 2 cards. Let's see what you get. Oh, that would have been nice. All right, you got half of your combo. You got your Gandalf.
Thank goodness for that.
Wow. This is really something, you guys. All right, next round.
It's the way he says something that doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
it's really interesting how certain times you play a quest and it's like everything just goes against you. I mean, we've revealed one location so far.
I guess that's what they call the luck of the draw.
Yep. Okay, nope, you didn't get what you wanted. Did you get another? Okay.
I got a glance and we're good.
All right. Hey, he's unique though.
Sweet. Well, this is easy. Basically, it's like a cakewalk.
Yeah, you guys got this. All right, so with no steward, you've only got 4 resources, and you're at 29 threat. So you need to really consider, are you going to be playing the Dwarven Tomb next turn to pull back that Gladjum's Greeting? Because if so, that really limits to what you can play this turn.
If I use Unexpected Courage, I still have 1 left.
But then you'll only have 3 next turn, and you need 1 to play the Dwarven Tomb.
Oh, right. I see. Because I have to... That's right. I have to still pay the cost for Galdrum's Greeting.
Right.
I see. Okay.
Oh, God. You know what, guys? We've been forgetting the Goblin Sniper. So he's dealt out a damage these last 2 turns. So someone should have taken damage last round and the round before. What do you guys want to do here? You have 1 spirit resource you could spend. You could play Stand and Fight and pull your Snowborn Scout back into play. Stand and Fight lets you choose an ally and put that ally into play from a discard pile.
Yeah, well, I need somebody, that's for sure. And yeah, I guess I really don't want to spend more than 1 spirit resource. So let's see, let's do that.
You guys have literally gotten like the perfect storm. You haven't drawn the steward, which would help your deck really get rolling, and then you drew all these enemies that you have to engage. That's what this game can do to you. Like, if the encounter deck is firing on all cylinders and your deck isn't, you're really behind the 8 ball for most of the game. It's very hard. You need one or the other to kind of go in your favor sometimes. If they're both...
So, if you were playing this game, Chad, let's say you were playing it 2-handed.
Yeah.
Solo. Yeah. At what point would you be like, I got screwed over and reset?
When I die. When I have to engage these hill trolls and they kill my heroes, that's when I would say I lost. Pulling out of a nosedive is sometimes the best part of this game. It is really fun to see if you can do it. All right, I think that was a good call. Now over here with the tactics, oh nope, he's unique, buddy. He's got that little unique symbol next to his name, so that's a dead card you can discard to Protector of Lorien or Eowyn or something.
Understood.
So the question is you have a lot of resources. Are you building up for the Citadel Plate?
Don't know.
I mean, it's not a bad strategy at all to do that.
Yeah, that basically makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in my 5 cards in my hand dead if I'm doing that because I can't cast any of those.
Yep. So I think what I would be doing right now is I'd say let's plan on sending X to the quest and see if you can hold back your card draw again to try to dig for that Forest Snare.
So then I've only got 2 that I'm sending?
Well, yeah, but what I meant was you still have 3 lore resources. And so maybe you could do the card draw now and see what you get. You could play...
Sure. Got a Gandalf and a Veteran Accent.
Okay. Well, you drew some allies. Not terrible. Just, you're down 14 cards deep in your deck and you haven't found one of the 3 copies of something. That's just
Now I could play Gandalf and hope that I get a forest snare.
You could, but then you wouldn't be able to play for a snare for 2 rounds. Or 1 round if you used all of Gimli's resources. I think I would wait. I'd hold off. Gandalf's really good in the second stage of this quest when you're revealing that extra card, and then you can pop him in and just kill the enemies in the staging area with his ability.
And I'm not worried about threat because Jason can do another Galadriel's greeting or whatever that is.
Yep, that's the plan. I think that's the plan. You have lots of cards to discard, so you can help discard to Eowyn to boost some willpower. You can definitely discard to Denethor if he has to defend a hill troll, so that's going to be good. So, I mean, you're actually sitting better than you think, I believe. You have enough cards in hand that you can really help with combat. I think you just commit to the quest and see what happens. You gotta just hope. This is the point where you're just hoping, like, for love of God, give me just 2 locations. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need more enemies. You got to basically have to start playing offensive because right now you're on defense.
So I'm waiting for Jason to commit.
Yep.
Okay. Oh crap! I can't. Never mind. I think I'm gonna use. Well, I'm sorry, Nathan. Who were you planning to send questing?
Well, I mean, Gimli's got 2 willpower.
Right. You don't really.
I have a lot of cards already. I could send Glaewine to give you 3. It seems like whenever you quest with Denethor now, then it's like, why did I do that? So maybe I don't want to send Denethor.
Yeah, and you also have that secret paths. So if we get a location that adds threat and we're going to underquest, you can play secret paths and cancel that threat.
As the resident vet, what do you think of Glaewine and Gimli?
I think I would. I think you're 4 against 4. You can boost. It's tempting just to send Eowyn, knowing you guys could boost her to 6, and your secret paths could cancel it as well.
I'm up for a risk. I mean, once again, you said we're behind the 8 ball.
Right. So
I mean, I can always send Aragorn too, and then ready him.
The only reason I don't think you should do that is if you get your Steward of Gondor, you can't play it then because you're spending his resource.
Well, if I get it.
Right. So
yeah, I don't know.
I would say you got to keep Aragorn ready. So if you're going to do that, definitely pop him back up. And keeping Gimli ready is really good because maybe you can engage. Oh no, you can't engage that sniper. Yeah, send Gimli. Ugh, you guys are just hurting. All right, so you're sending 8, and you're gonna spend Aragorn's resource and pop him back up.
I like that.
Okay, here we go. Hey, look, a location. That's amazing. And a treachery. Each location in the staging area gets +1. Okay, well, that's okay.
Works out well, right?
And if the player has a threat of 35 or higher, something bad happens. So that's just a 4 threat location.
At this point, can I do secret paths?
You could, but you quested 8 against 8. So
yeah, but do we not want progress?
You're not anywhere near ready to progress. You have to kill 2 hill trolls. So it's kind of like if you don't have to play a card right now, I would just hold off. I'm sorry, you cut out. What was that?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, the only thing you could do, you could discard cards Eowyn if you wanted to add a progress, but I really don't see the point. Do you want to travel here and discard 2 cards at random?
Not really.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
All right, so we decided
Right, so
not
I'm
to
not
travel.
going to travel.
Right. We can't engage the goblin sniper, which really stinks. You might consider playing a Gandalf at some point just to kill him with his direct damage. I'm assuming you guys don't want to kill a hill troll yet? Not really something you want to do? All right, so we're just going straight to combat, I believe.
But that would be another route, right? To just try to power boost and kill off the hill troll ahead of time?
Yeah, I mean, you could engage the hill troll. Denethor could defend it, but then what? Like, you can't do any damage to it. I think if I'm reading your strategy, getting that Citadel Plate on Gimli so he can really power up and basically just destroy these hill trolls would be pretty good. All right, combat.
Okay, so I think I'll go with the same strategy. I think Eleanor is going to defend against the Wolf Rider and the Snowborn Scout. Once again, will have to sacrifice himself to the wargs. Aww.
All right, we'll see if Eleanor lives. She's badly wounded. No shadow. Over on the other side, there was a blade mastery that could have helped you and boost her defense, and you could have canceled the shadow. All right, and then the Snowbird Scout. It still stays with you. Okay. So +1 attack. All right, so he's dead. Gimli gets a resource with the Horn of Gondor. And you do have Aragorn up, who can attack for 3. So here, let me tell you something you could do. You could attack the wargs, and they'd be 1 hit point from death. And then next turn, you could play Gondorian Spearman. And he says, after he's declared a defender, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So he could defend the warg, and the warg would take that damage before it attacks and die before it even attacked.
Nice.
And then you'd only be engaged with this 2-attack Wolf Rider. So that's up to you guys. You could kill the enemy now or plan on killing the wargs next turn if he wants to play like he said, he wouldn't be able to get the plate in that round, but I'm just letting you know your options. I think either way is good. Those wargs are eventually going to bounce back up to the staging area. They just have to not get a shadow.
Yeah, I think planning wise, especially if we can reduce our threat, I think getting rid of the wargs is probably the better route.
I kind of agree. I think Aragorn should attack these wargs. Because if they don't get a shadow, they bounce up, and then you can never attack them. It stinks. Okay. And unfortunately, you still got the Goblin Sniper out there, dealing a damage to you guys. That thing's going to kill you. All right, so Gleowine can still have somebody draw a card, and Denethor can peek. So you want me to peek?
Sure.
Okay. It's going to be a very low-cost enemy that's going to engage you guys next round. He can move that to the bottom of the deck. What do you think?
I say keep it on top, right?
So he'll have to engage one of you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I probably would move it because, I mean, well, I'm already engaged with 2.
Yeah. I would be tempted to put it on the bottom of the deck just because you guys really can't take another enemy right now.
No. Well, I thought because it was a low-cost enemy, we'd want to keep it to kill it off.
No, I'm saying like low threat. It's going to engage you.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And
sure. Yeah, put it at the bottom then, because that's kind of what everybody's heading towards anyway.
I just
where would the card draw be most beneficial right now with Gleowine, by the way?
I don't know.
I feel like I've taken a lot of cards, but I'm still looking for the forest snare.
Yep, you're both digging for a card. That's what really sucks. I built these decks assuming one of you would have drawn the card you needed, so the other guy could do a lot of digging. So I really think you need to find that forest snare. I really do. God.
Yeah, double plate. Give me 8.
Jeez. Okay. Next round, I guess, guys. Nope. Good Lord. Hey.
Well, I got another greeting.
That's good. That's really good. I love it when you're drawing multiple copies of certain cards and you haven't drawn any of the 3 copies of a different card. That's good times. That's good times there.
Right.
All right. So you're probably going to play that Gladjum's Greeting and drop you guys down by 2 again, right?
That would be smart. So yes.
Okay, so we bought more time again. I mean, this was the fallback strategy. Like, if you couldn't find the cards you needed, then hopefully you can just stay under 30 threat. It's making for a very long game, though. And getting 2 hill trolls. That's ridiculous. All right, so you did play your Gondorian Spearman. That's great. You're not drawing any of your lore cards, which stinks.
How much is Forest Snare?
3.
Should I just try to draw 2 cards right now?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, we gotta find it eventually. Quick Strike. Hey, a lore card. That's good.
A lore card.
Well, she's a healer.
She heals. Oh, nice. Might as well play that now.
I think so. Because the other side of the table here is getting pretty low on hit points.
And she can heal 2. Should I just heal Aragorn for 2? Or
yeah,
Eleanor?
Yeah, one of those 2 for sure. Yep.
Well, I'll trigger the heal. Who do you want me to pick, Jason?
Let's do Eleanor, because she's 1 step away from death.
Okay, well, you've dug deeper into your deck. Eventually, a Forest Snare will come out. All right. And you played a Gondorian Spearman, which is good. You have a feint. Are you good over there?
I think so. I don't think there's anything else I can do other than commit to question at this point.
Okay. And, yep, I think the other side of the table is also holding on to everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. It's like part of me wants to play the Unexpected Courage because it's just
can't,
sitting there the whole time.
Yeah.
And,
you can't. If you had that...
Oh, right, I'm looking at the image. Yeah.
Yep, if you had Steward, you could.
I'm looking at the wrong token.
All right.
Well, that hasn't shown up.
Questy.
All right, well, obviously... Oh, never mind. Sorry, jumped the gun. Go ahead, Nathan.
2 from Nathan. He can cancel
I almost want to quest with the Gondorian Spearman. The only thing that's keeping me back is that it has 0 willpower.
Well, yeah, there's no reason to then.
That was a joke.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm like, oh man. Okay.
I kind of get stuff. All right, so I've got Gimli there with 2.
And you got Secret Paths, which is basically 3.
Yeah. Now, should I leave? So you said keep. You always want to assume you got to block 1.
You always want to assume you might engage an enemy.
How am I helping with the Spearman and the Warg exactly?
So his response, deal a damage after he's declared a defender, will actually kill the Warg before you resolve the Warg's attack. Because he only has 1 hit point left.
I mean, do I take the Warg off of him?
He's Sentinel, so you just say, I'll defend it. And he dies.
Oh, duh. Okay. But in this game, because I'm familiar with Arkham where you can take people over by taunting them. In this game, can you do a similar thing?
But I didn't understand what you said. Taunting them? What'd you say?
In Arkham, you can taunt and take creatures over from somebody else. In this game, can you take an enemy off of somebody else?
There's cards that let you do that, but in this game you use Sentinel.
Understood.
And just defend across the table. All right, are we sending 6? Is that the plan? We got 6 going right now? with lots of ways to boost the willpower after we reveal cards.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's just what we got to do at this point.
I mean, oh, there we go.
All right, so the first player, you got to deal 2 damage to someone committed to the quest. Hey, what do you know? That kills Gimli. Doesn't it? Oh, no, committed to the quest. It could be anybody, so it could kill Eowyn as well. Hey, awesome.
No good one on that.
So that's it.
Hey, question. There's nothing that we could do to change this. Like, I can't do a fast response with Gleowine to draw a card to somehow stop anything, right?
Nope, because the only thing you can do is something that says response. I think you just lost. I mean, you can continue playing if you want, but since we're already behind...
Cancel that card?
No, it's only a treachery.
Oh, it's an orc that does that. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I honestly think this is the type of game right here that someone could have this happen to them like 3 or 4 games in a row and get incredibly frustrated. But as a veteran, I know that you guys were literally like, you're literally, you know the line from the movie, you're on the edge of a knife, stray but a little and you will fail. You guys have just been teetering on losing, and you just needed a break. You just needed a little luck, and you weren't getting it. Like a sneak attack Gandalf, like anything. Like, where the heck were your forest snares? Let's look at your deck. They were forever away. I don't even see them. 1, 2.
You sure you put them in?
Yeah,
the bottom 2 cards were forest snares, and then about 12 cards down was a forest snare from the end. So all 3 copies were in your bottom 14 cards. That's a shuffle fail, is what it is. And then where was your stewards? You didn't have a steward coming for 6 cards. But you did have a sneak attack. Your next card was a sneak attack. That could have been helpful. I mean, that happens. I feel like...
Yeah, it sure did.
I feel like this is a classic case, and I'm glad. I know it sucks to lose, but I'm actually kind of glad. It really does showcase how a lot of things can go wrong.
And this is the second adventure into the entire game from the core set.
Yeah. Yeah, but you had literally everything go wrong that could have. You revealed a second hill troll. You didn't draw any of the cards you needed to help your decks. Both of you didn't draw cards you needed to help your decks. That hurts.
Dude, that's when if it was me playing at home by myself, that's when I probably free shuffled right at the start. Because I know technically you're only supposed to get 1 mulligan, but especially in a case like this where the deck is so reliant on finding like that one important card, I probably would have mulliganed until I had it. It's just the core set. I mean, the core set, I feel like it's just, the first quest is like, oh, okay, this is doable. And then all of a sudden, the second quest, and it's like, oh, this is
a lot harder.
Really kind of tricky.
I don't know if I'd always say you'd want to just basically pull the card you need out of your deck and put it in your hand. That's basically what you were saying by doing mulligans until you get it. You can have fallback strategies, and you can have fallback on your fallback strategies. You can... your feints can buy you time. Your threat reduction bought you time. Sneak attack Gandalf, if you have to engage the hill troll and you don't want to drop your threat with Gandalf, you could sneak him in, do 4 damage during the combat phase, and then he defends it for you, and maybe you can swing back and do the rest of the damage. I mean, there's ways to play without having your specific card you're looking for. But I'm telling you guys, I've played this quest, I don't know how many, hundreds of times. You guys got wrecked. You literally kept revealing the cards that killed you over and over and over again.
You are welcome, community. I did this, honestly, Jason, I don't know about you, I did this on purpose. And I really feel selfless,
Why don't...
It was a teaching moment.
It was. Why don't you guys put your player cards, like back in your deck, and just we'll take a few mulligans and look at your hands.
I got 2 Hanamarth River Song, Dwarven Axe, Horn of Gondor, Gandalf, and Citadel Plate.
See, still no Forest Snare. That's insane to me. You've seen a lot of cards. Looking on the other side, you also still no Steward. Do a mulligan again. Let's see it. There you go. Look at that. See? Now that's
easy. Third game.
Well, that would have just been the mulligan of your second game. You're just destined to never find a Steward. I'm going to look at all your cards and see where they were. Your next card was a Steward. Your next card was a Steward. So if this was our second game, you would have had Steward on turn 1, which means it could have been put in play turn 2. And that would have helped you. And since you had Celebrian Stone in your hand, I would have put it on Aragorn, and then Aragorn could have got the Spirit icon. So just in theory, I think we should play again at some point. I can't today, but in theory, looking at the Leadership Spirit deck, just to show like if a little bit of luck went your way, and this was our second game because this was your this was your mulligan, so this would have been your hand. On turn 2, you could have played Steward of Gondor on Aragorn, exhausted it to play Celebrian Stone on Aragorn. Then you would be generating 5 resources around, which definitely would have let you play any spirit card you had in your hand, okay? So you would have been fine. You would have been able to really be playing a lot of cards. On the other side of the table, on turn 2, you could have engaged the Hill Troll. You have 2 allies that you could have chumped with, or Protector of Lorien could have defended with Denethor, and that you wouldn't have taken any damage, and then you would have trapped it in the Forest Snare on turn 2. So on turn 2, with this game versus our last game, assuming we just didn't get absolutely wrecked with the when revealed at the beginning of the game, you would have had a snared Hill Troll and Steward basically just pumping out resources like crazy on the other side of the table to get that questing deck running. And it would have been a very different game, I feel. It just, everything went against you. But that's also why I would say don't just keep mulliganing until you get the card you need, because if the encounter deck maybe is even on the easier side, doesn't throw you the worst cards, you could pull out of that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely, it's a balance. But like I'm saying, like with the game that we had today, where right away it was like, look at this horrible encounter deck. Look at the fact that we don't have our cards. Me personally, I probably would have. But that's also knowing, too. I mean, having played this quest before, if you're playing progression style with only the core set cards, it seems more limited in ways that you can handle each scenario.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Well, the other thing I was thinking, again, I was just counting on a little bit of luck. I'm like, okay, we revealed so many enemies. Odds are we're going to reveal locations and treacheries, which Eleanor can cancel. And with Gleowine and Beravor, you're drawing 3 extra cards around, hopefully, to find one of the cards you're looking for. I mean, like I said, a little bit of luck I was hoping would go your way, but it didn't. And that happens. And I think we should try these again. But now that you guys have played these decks, I wonder if you want to kind of look at the deck lists that I sent you and maybe make some changes. Because maybe you're like, you know what? This card, when I drew it, I didn't want it. I didn't need it.
Yeah, let me ask you this question. Can I add more Citadel Plate?
You have... Yeah. I think you have enough on your plate.
All right. Well played.
The other part... Cool. The hard part about these core sets is also you're limited on how many cards you can have. If you want, we could just say our deck size is only 40. Because, I mean, to get to 50 cards, I really had to include extra copies of cards I didn't want to. And so sometimes playing with the core set, just set your deck limit to 40, even with multiple copies of the core set.
Right. Yeah. The limit, I I've been playing with 50 cards, but there's definitely been times where you're like, do I really need all
Right.
here? It would just be so much easier without, but because it's so, I don't know, this could be something with later, cards with more card draw abilities and stuff, but I
Oh
feel like
yeah.
I never get like halfway through my deck.
Yep.
So it's kind of just like, what are all these cards?
And I
Kind of
posted
seem wasted.
I posted a video yesterday where I drew my entire deck out. But you can beat this quest with the core set without even the extra copies of the cards. Like some cards there's just not 3 of in the core set. You can still beat this quest. And I also feel like these 2 decks could beat this quest. I know they could.
Yeah, I see the combinations. Well, that said, I do appreciate you hosting, and Jason, I appreciate you playing, but I have to skedaddle, and we can try it again sometime.
That sounds good to me. Thanks for playing, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll get a
See
win.
you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.